backstretch again. Less than 3 to go. The bumper to the back of the 24.
It takes years of hard work to build your reputation, but only seconds to destroy it in today's world of NASCAR. That's exactly what happened to Denny Hamlin in the 2017 First Data 500. In the closing laps, Hamlin would wreck fan favorite Chase Elliott in his bid for his first career win. Let's take a look back at one of the greatest races in NASCAR history. The date is October 29th, 2017. The site is Martinsville, Virginia, the host of the first race in the round of 8 for the then-known Monster Energy Cup Series. The opportunity to win your way to the Final Four at Homestead is up for grabs. Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. are on the front row and ready to take the field to the green flag for 500 action-packed laps.
Green flags in the air.
Joey Logano would jump out to a comfortable lead early and lead every lap. Targeting this race as a must-win were the following drivers: Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and even Jimmie Johnson, the defending series champion, was targeting this race as a must-win as he qualified in the back of the pack after spinning out during qualifying. The first caution of the race occurred on lap 37 when two cars, Ty Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., spun out in turn number 2. This put the field under the first caution. The race restarted on lap 45, and less than 5 laps later, championship contender Brad Keselowski took the lead away from Joey Logano and would go on to lead a handful of laps, demonstrating that he had a case for being the dominant car early in this race. A few laps later, the second caution of the race flew on lap 63 when David Reagan spun out in turn 4. The race resumed on lap 69 and it remained green for 19 laps. Joey Logano would retake the lead from Brad Keselowski, but contact between Danica Patrick and AJ Allmendinger would cause the third accident of the day on lap 87, bringing out the race's third caution. The race restarted on lap 94 with new players at the front of the field. 7-time champion Jimmie Johnson led the field to green. Johnson was also competing for the championship and was trying to gamble on pit strategy for stage points as he started the race dead last after spinning out in qualifying. Jimmie would go on to lead a handful of laps before being caught and passed by Brad Keselowski, who was on fresher tires. Keselowski would go on to win stage 1. On lap 140, the race restarted with another new leader, Kyle Busch. Busch was also a championship contender. Chase Elliott would begin to pick his way through the field. Elliott was a driver who was most likely going to need to win to advance in this round. Jamie McMurray would cut a tire, but other than that, it was a very uneventful second stage, remaining green the whole way through. Kyle Busch would begin to catch lap traffic, but would get held up behind his teammate Denny Hamlin, who was trying to remain on the lead lap. Because of this holdup, he would end up getting passed for the lead by Keselowski, who would go on to win stage 2. The final stage began on lap 272 and it remained green for 32 laps. Kyle Busch retook the lead on pit road thanks to help of his pit crew. The sixth caution of the race flew on lap 304 when Kyle Larson lost control of his car and crashed into the inside wall on the backstretch. The race restarted on lap 314 and the seventh caution of the race flew 3 laps later when Eric Jones spun out in turn 4. On lap 322, the field retook the green, and a few laps later, Chase Elliott would take the lead for the first time today, powering by Kyle Busch in turn 2 on the bottom. The 8th caution of the race flew on lap 362 when Landon Castle spun out in turn number 2. Once again, the race resumed on lap 368, and Brad Keselowski jumped back to the lead thanks to help from his pit crew, followed by Kyle Busch and then Chase Elliott. Later in the run, Chase Elliott would retake the lead, but soon after, Carl Long crashed, bringing out the caution and re-racking the field for another restart. Elliott's pit crew would get him out of the pits first, setting up a very chaos-filled remaining laps. Keselowski would retake the lead from Elliott, but in the remaining laps, Kyle Busch would take Joey Logano and Chase Elliott 3 wide, causing Joey Logano to cut his rear tire and spin out laps later, setting up for a great finish. The race restarted on lap 497. Race leader Brad Keselowski chose the outside line with Elliott running on the inside. Elliott ran Keselowski's car up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4 to take the lead over Denny Hamlin, who was almost lapped earlier in the race but had battled back for second place at this time in the race. A lap later, in the exact spot where Elliott ruined Keselowski's race, Hamlin ruined Elliott's by hitting his back bumper and spinning Elliott into the wall, sending the race into overtime. In one lap, we had 3 different lead changes, all involving playoff contending drivers. Unfortunately, Elliott would receive the worst. So how does this race end? Well, with the fireworks we have seen all race, I can tell you it's worth the wait to see the finish of this race. So let's let the broadcast team take us home.
Denny Hamlin has chosen the inside line. Kyle Busch on the outside. Hamlin surges ahead. Clearly out front. The 18 running second. Truex in third. Now here comes Boyer fighting back on the inside. A little bump there out of the 18. Side by side as they come back to the stripe. White flag in the air. Kyle Busch on the inside. Kyle Busch up the racetrack. He moves the 11 up. Here comes the 78 of Truex Jr. Into the final turns. Martin Truex Jr. has never won on a short track. As he comes out of 4, it's a drag race. They wreck behind him. Kyle Busch will win.
Yes, sir. Checker.
And just like that, the law of averages equals out for Denny Hamlin. After almost having the chance to race for a championship, he crashes coming out of turn 4 after being bumped up the track by his teammate Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch would go on to secure a championship 4 spot at Homestead, Miami, and give himself the opportunity to race for a second championship. Now we can't just skip over what happened between the 11 and 24 after. Both Elliott and Hamlin had different perspectives on what occurred. Elliott showed his displeasure by running into Hamlin's car multiple times after the race was over. To this day, fans are still up in arms about this incident, and this was the beginning of the downfall of Denny Hamlin's reputation in the NASCAR Cup Series. So after hearing the story and seeing everything that was on the line, and seeing the racing that occurred a lap prior, do you agree that Denny Hamlin should have moved Chase Elliott even though it wrecked him? Chase Elliott moved Brad Keselowski, but it's not fair for Denny Hamlin to move Chase Elliott. It's an interesting question that most fans today still argue about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you want me to do any other races, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.